Hello, hello, hello. I am Tia Marie, the Soul Potential CEO, and we are back for another amazing episode. And the title of our chat today is Burn the Rulebook: Why Traditional Manifestation Strategies Keep You Stuck. So, I recently shared a YouTube video on my YouTube channel. And if you don't follow me on YouTube, you can find me at the Sinatia and subscribe and share. I have, a lot of incredible content coming out on that channel that I'm really excited about, talking about manifestation, about spiritual technology, about soul business, all the things. And the content is really fun and short and easy to consume. So hopefully I'll see you over there. But I recently shared a quick video about this in-between state in manifestation where you're moving from like incompetence or like just full on lack of awareness into a state of possibility, potential, and awareness about, wow, I can manifest things. I do have influence over my reality. There are tools and teachings out there that I can use to create things in my life and to achieve goals and to set intentions. And this is really exciting. And one of the problems that I have found that is really not often talked about is the truth that the way that traditional manifestation teachings have been shared over the years keep us stuck in this searching state, this confused state, because the teachings are not embodied. They are fragmented. They are separate. They are partial in essence. And I believe that we're moving into times right now in our conscious evolution where these paradigms no longer work. We are integrating. We are moving into mastery. We have the potential for that. So I just want to have this conversation with you because one of the things that I teach inside of my work is a sequence of manifestation along with other technologies and other teachings, like core teachings that are really important to understand, that allow you to get into a place with manifestation, in your relationship with manifestation, where you have no more questions about how it works. And I want to bring up some truths, some awarenesses in this talk today, and just lay it out for you about where they keep us stuck, how they keep us in this in-between state. The first one is forced gratitude is the ultimate form of spiritual bypassing. So a lot of people out there like to talk about spiritual bypassing, which is a topic that I kind of find really funny. I often see the way that most people use this statement to be like bypassing the bypassing. Like there's this deep irony to the way that people are so addicted and connected to their narratives and their stories, and they get so outraged when you actually present them with the notion that maybe you could just let that go. And then all of a sudden, because you are speaking from a place of maybe talking about spiritual concepts or essenced concepts, and all of a sudden you're bypassing the drama. I find that to be hilarious. But there is a truth, there's a little bit of a quirk in this statement where forced gratitude doesn't really do much for us. And there's this punishment that happens in our system when we feel like we should be grateful for something that we're not grateful for. And we've assigned spiritual meaning to it, which then means that we're just not experts at sucking it up. We're not experts at maximizing the opportunity to feel grateful. When we should feel grateful, we should, right? If we were enlightened, if we were masterful, if we were really, optimizing our ability to manifest, we would feel grateful. We could feel grateful for everything. Just be in the moment. Just be in the moment. You cannot force gratitude. Anyone who has done work with me inside of my teachings and has developed over time a very true and meaningful relationship to what embodied manifestation is through the technologies that we use understands that after a while, When you are creating from your soul's frequency, when you are aligned in that, you hit these states of gratitude that are undeniable and they are not forced. You don't even have to think about them. In fact, you're often taken by surprise. This is the moments, the teary moments when life just shocks you with its majestic beauty and perfection. That's what real gratitude feels like. That's what high vibrational emotion feels like. And cultivating these states of high vibrational emotions is actually what takes our ability to create to the next level. So you can tell yourself all day long that you should be grateful for the steaming pile of shit that you are dealing with, but it's not actually going to work. It doesn't become gratitude in your system until you learn to mold it into gold, until you learn to live in moment to moment, weekly, monthly, annual cycles of sequences where you are building skill and growing. And then all of a sudden one day, what you are, the matter that you are engaging with is pure gold. It is pure magic. Okay, next one. Acting as if just sounds like the ultimate opportunity to dive deep into imposter syndrome. Acting as if is this state of falseness, right? So the things that I'm describing to you, there is this falseness to all of them, where we're pushing forward a state of awareness that should arrive us to the place where we've been told we need to go, but none of it is comprehensive enough to teach us how to maximize and utilize it. So we have this thing where, and I had this happen for me years ago, and believe me, I understand that all of these states or these teachings that I'm talking about have some value. Like they have beginner level value, right? They're just like they're shift states. So sure, acting as if years ago when I wanted to start a business, I was like, I'm just going to show up and get dressed up like I'm going to the office and sit down at a computer. I'm going to act as if I have a business that I don't have yet. And that helped. I created things, right? But it didn't help me become the person, the leader that I had to become in order to take that business to the place that I'm taking it. After years and learning to put myself in the right places and learning to understand the right perspectives, I didn't even have to think about that anymore, right? I just initiated myself on an embodiment journey, which is something completely different. All right. Like I said, these things are shift states. They're beginner states. This is why I called manifestation like the gateway drug of spirituality. And that's cool. No shame in the game. I just feel that we are in times where we are ready for an upgrade. Okay. Universal laws apply to energy and matter, but guess what? Your energy and matter too. You can shift the field. High awareness, high frequency states of consciousness understand that they are the law of the land. So you can shift the field. If you are a whole and complete universe, it is more useful for you to step outside of studying universal law and double down on your law, your internal law. Pay attention to how energy operates between you and what you create in your life versus how energy operates as a larger conceptual awareness that does not apply to the day-to-day immersive, what you're touching versus a philosophical concept. Okay. Affirmations are mental and lose energy over time. If you understood the power of one word, you would understand that you could explore one sentence from now until the rest of your life and never stop evolving within statements. But we use affirmations as a way to actually create mantras, right? So we're not affirming, we're repeating. We're not affirming, we are memorizing. And that has a very different energetic consequence in our system, which is also something that I think isn't spoken about enough and isn't shared in the way that I am sharing it here. When you learn how to master intention and speak to your life, right? When you understand that you are the timeline, you are the divine timing, you are the center of gravity, you are what orbits, right? You are the center of what desire orbits your field. You're starting the cycle, you're ending the cycle. You get into this relationship where you realize that life is not a like a magic 8 ball. Like you're not waiting for a synchronicity. You are creating the synchronicity with your intention. And therefore, you end up in this place where you understand the consequence of your language so, like, in such a nuanced way that you can actually arrive where affirmations have meaning in your life. But without that skill, without that development, we're just memorizing words. Repetition works, quote unquote. But at the end of the day, it's really about quality over quantity. Quality over quantity. So think about repetition in general. Like the idea that doing the wrong thing every day would somehow open you up doesn't make sense. Like, say, for example, you are eating unhealthy food every day that does not nourish your system. It works in the sense that you're not starving and dying, but is it really working? Right? Like, is it really working for you? So, repeating practices like forced gratitude, practices like studying and mentally engaging in all of these teachings, repeating affirmations, repeating, returning to a vision board. Like the pieces are there, but it's so much more simple than that, actually. It's so much more simple than all these fragmented aspects of a whole that would just lead you to understand that you do have influence. I believe that the timeline of manifestation in its journey through the conscious collective was really about, in the beginning stages, bringing awareness to the different aspects and options that were out there, kind of like looking at a wheel, right? Like a data wheel that was all kind of external. And each of the aspects of that data wheel were logical. They made sense. They attempted to bring us into a conversation with ourselves about the fact that we create our reality. And then after that happened in this timeline, we did enough work as a collective, kind of like analyzing that data. And now we're in that place where it can just become who we are. It can come back into center and be so simple and so easy and so soul aligned, which is something totally different than all the ways that we need to understand things as humans. And that's what I'm really about when it comes to the conversation of manifestation. So I want to share 3 truths with you before I hop off. One is manifestation is your original magic. There is a part of you, there is a dimension of you that is not confused in any way whatsoever about how this works. In fact, spiritual teachings that move slow in our system actually create distrust on a soul level for this exact reason. Because it is so natural and it is so easy to us, it creates this glitch in our system where we are just like, I know this, I know me, but you're telling me like the way to get to point B is to go in all these crazy directions. And I just know that's not true. So I don't know if I can trust you to drive. And then after some time, it ends up diluting our energy. It ends up diluting access to ourselves when we are moving in a direction that we think is going to bring us closer to home. And that feels like a big betrayal, doesn't it? And this is why people who sign up for these programs and don't see results feel like wounded on a different level. It doesn't feel as wounding when you purchase something that is very like you purchase a cup of coffee and it doesn't taste good, right? You're like, oh, that's a crappy cup of coffee. I mean, I guess I just won't go back to that place. It's not like there's something wrong with you. You have bad energy. You don't know how to do this. You aren't worthy of this. You don't deserve what you desire. It must be a mother wound. It must be your beliefs. It must be your childhood drama. It must be your karmic, you know, like what's going on in your bloodlines and your karma. You need healings. You need healings. You need healings. You got to get back to that original state. You got to do all that stuff to return to wholeness, where the actual solution simply is no. If we upgrade our tools and we engage in teachings that are correct, all of the other things that I just mentioned, and you will hear me talk about this. This is like, I'm on my soapbox on this one. You will hear me talk about this forever. Creation heals because you are a creator. Creation, when you are aligned, corrects because you are correct just how you are. You came here with all the technology and tools that you need to do all the things that you desire to do here. The journey is to move faster through that process so that you can get into a state of expression and thriving that feels normal and natural to you, that doesn't feel dense like you're wading through the mud. Truth number 2, intentions move through you in sequences. You won't know what this means if you haven't taken my program, The Sequence, but I'm telling you, like when you set an intention, whether it's conscious or unconscious, all creation starts with an intention. Just like data filtering through a program, or just like data filtering, like input, processing, output, there is a processing consequence to an intention. And as it moves through that sequence, you have the opportunity, if you learn what it is, how to maximize every intention into the fullest extent of what you are capable of creating. And in that, your life starts to speak to you, mirroring back to you what you have created, confirming, affirming your natural state as the spark of that creation in your life. And life starts to feel magical and surprising and full of awe and wonder. And then you have these experiences and you think to yourself, this is exactly how I knew it was supposed to be. I had a sense, I had a suspicion. I knew it. This is what I've been searching for. And then after all of that, you realize that all those problems, all those symptoms, all those things that you were obsessed about clearing out just don't really matter to you as much as the journey that you're on. Because you have confidence, because you are deeply, deeply rooted in your feet here. And it's a beautiful, beautiful feeling. And the third truth is that you are the law of your land. You get to decide what you believe. You get to decide. Ultimately, you get to decide everything. You could live your entire life not knowing universal law and still create things, probably pretty effectively. You could choose not to look at things that in your life that should be paid attention to. You can choose to be delusional. You can choose to understand everything. So it's interesting to me how there are multidimensional truths to beliefs and laws, in that, yes, it's a yes and. So focus more on defining the laws of your land, right? Becoming the person who has dominion over that space so that you can maximize the investment of energy that you put towards creation versus investing energy or awareness or perception or the potential for mastery in directions that will ultimately shift as you become the more forceful energetic state of gravity in your life. And what I mean, like, the stronger you become, the more life is pulled towards you. The more what you desire orbits your field, and you become law, right? Because you become the magnetic center. So focus on that. And those are my tips for you. I hope you loved this conversation today. We talked about burn the rule book, why traditional manifestation strategies keep you stuck. If you love this content, you can reach out to me. You can find me at magic@sinatia.com. You can find me on our website, sinatia.com. Find me on Instagram, Facebook, all over the place. We are out there sharing what we are here to share. And if you are interested in learning more, connect with me, and I will look forward to hearing from you. See you in the next one.